Here we go. Things I like. Visuals, absolutely stunning. Art department is hard carrying the entire fucking company. Probably the best art department on the entire planet. The cutscenes, amazing. The way the game looks, amazing. The way the world looks, amazing. The atmosphere, amazing. Really, really, really good. Even little details like when your spells go off cooldown, the way they shimmer like a broken mirror, it looks fucking cool. Now it's not gonna go on YouTube anymore because I said the F word. Gonna get demonetized. Not gonna upload it anyway. This is just for Twitch. Yeah, visuals, great. Gameplay wise, it feels really fluid. It feels nice. You can just create a character, get your fucking hands on your keyboard and mouse, and you start playing. There's no clunkiness in terms of movement. It feels really just nice to play. You run around, you kill monsters. You know, there's no like weird interactions with the environment and your character gets stuck. None of that. You just run around and you fucking blast. You know, casting spells feels really fluent. There's no animation lock that's annoying. Really good. The world in general, the world design, the way the map looks, I think is really good. I mean, obviously we only know Act 1, but so far, Act 1 looks pretty nice. It feels good, the atmosphere is really nice. And that's not just because of the visuals, it's also because of the design. I think it all works together. The way the paths like go, it just feels good. So glad thinks the gameplay is fun. Yeah. Difficulty. Difficulty I can spell. Difficulty so far, I think the difficulty is okay. This is World Tier 2, which is the highest on the beta, but it's not bad. Like it's actually quite good. There was one event. There was I think I don't remember where it was, but there was one event where I died once, and that was the only time I died because I was level 20 and the event was level 25, and there was this boss that had like skeletons and shit. That was, you know, it was nice to actually die. You know, not just face roll everything. Overall, the difficulty feels okay. You know, the normal mobs that you see on the way are just whatever. I have not done the world boss. No, I've heard though that the world boss is extremely unforgiving. So I like the difficulty. The trash feels like trash, and the bosses feel like bosses. So I think the difficulty is fine. Things I don't like, and then we'll have things I hate. Okay? I'll start with things I hate. Things I hate, the UI. Absolute fucking garbage. It's a 1 out of 10. There's 7 different fonts on my screen at the same time. It feels like a cheap mobile game. Minimap can't be customized. Terrible. Empty space under my abilities. Right here. Feels terrible. My bar is just floating somewhere. The minimap can't be customized. There's different fonts for everything. Different font for the chat, different font for my ability name, different font for the ability description, different font for the loot, different font for the guild tag, different font for character names. Like, fucking agree on a font, man. Holy shit. I want numbers for my HP and mana bubbles, either in the bubble or above the bubble. I don't want to have to hover over my thing to see how much HP I have. So all of that together makes for a horrible UI. The character screen here, terrible space allocation. The inventory, which is the most important thing, is 20% of your inventory. And then your character, which is the least important thing, is 70% of your screen. Like, why does my character need to be this big? I really do not give a shit about how my character looks. And I know some people do, but how about you have this button here that says profile. When you click it, you get a huge character. So why not have it so that this doesn't exist? It's just your items, and then when you click on profile, you get to see your character. Like, why do we have two ways to see your character and only one way to look at, you know, this stuff, which is the real important shit, and then your inventory itself? Like, I don't know. The space allocation is horrible. The quest tracking. Actually, we'll put that under things I don't like. Quest tracking is kind of It's not the best. It's not the worst. I think they could do a little more with that. The types of currency. I think there's too many types of currency. Like in Diablo 2, you have runes and, you know, gems and gold. In Diablo 3, you have a bunch of crafting materials and whatever. And then here you have like 16,000 different things. You have plants and ores and skins and parts and salvage. And then you have 10 different salvage parts. And then you have this and this and this. And you're probably going to have more. And you're going to have your microtransaction currency, because you're definitely not buying that with money. You're going to buy a different currency. And then you're going to spend that currency on your stuff. Like, there's going to be a lot of currencies. So many currencies. I hate that. Types of currency and amount. Things I don't like is how your power is displayed. Now, this is not going to change, because this is a basic feature of the game. This is how they want to scale the items. This is how they want to scale the power. I hate it. This whole like attack power stat, I'm not a big fan of, because it feels like you're just chasing item level. You're just chasing the item that has, you know, more item power. You don't, you know, everything else is kind of irrelevant. In Diablo 2, you care about, you know, plus the stats, FCR. You know, sometimes an item that looks worse is better because of a specific stat that it has on it. Here, you're just chasing item level. It's like retail WoW. You just, if it has more, then you equip it. The way strength, intelligence, willpower, and dex work, that I do like. The fact that dex gives me crit and an int gives me damage, and for a rogue, dex gives him damage and int gives him crit, and just the way it works, I think that's great. Cool. If you're gonna have these 4 stats, cool, they're all useful, right? In Diablo 2, you just dump everything into vitality. You never give a shit about strength unless you need it to wear items. Dex is only used for like 2 classes that need max block. Energy, no one really cares except Nova sorcerers. So I think it's good that you actually care about your main stats. So that's now there are a bunch of offensive stats like this. This stuff I do like, but amount of secondary stats. I do like having so many stats because this reminds me of PoE. Having like a million different stats that you can piece together, I like it. The thing I'm worried about is that there's gonna be one stat that's just gonna be better than everything else, just like it happened in Diablo 3, which is gonna render this entire list completely obsolete except for this one singular stat, whichever that one may be. That's what I'm worried about. Like in Diablo 2, for example, as a caster, you care about hitting your breakpoints with FCR. And that sometimes means that a 10 FCR ring is better than, you know, a fucking Stone of Jordan. I don't like that. There's not a lot of things I don't like about D2, but that's one of them. So I do like that there's these amounts of stats. What else? Dungeons. Let's have things I feel indifferent about. Dungeons. I think they're okay. I think the map layout is a little bare bones. You only have like a handful of different tiles and then they're just pieced together. I hope this is a beta thing or an Act 1 thing. Because if every dungeon is like that, even in the end game and the later acts, that's not very good because every dungeon's gonna feel the same. It's just the same 3-4 tiles that make the same snake-like, map, and that's it. So, I don't know. This could either be a thing that I do like or a thing that I don't like. It depends how much they develop this. What else? What else? Here's my conclusion. I'll give the conclusion now. If I think of anything else, I'll add it later. Conclusion: was the beta fun? Yes. I think it was. Is the game worth $100 plus battle pass plus microtransactions? No. No. Now, you don't have to spend money on microtransactions. And you don't have to buy the battle pass. And you don't have to buy the ultimate edition. You can just, the lowest you can spend on it is $70. And then not buy anything else. But even at $70, I think it's overpriced. It feels unfinished. Now, obviously, it is unfinished because it's a beta, but there are some really basic things that should have made it into the game that didn't. And they are mainly things that I don't, or that I absolutely hate. Like, when you get a beta for a game that's gonna release in 2 months, and the game's been in development for a long time, and you still have 7 different fonts, that is not a good sign. That is actually a really, really bad sign. Because that is basic shit. Can it be worth $100? Or, you know, can it be worth 200 plus? Because, for example, the money I've spent on Lost Ark is free to play. There is a degree of pay to win. And there's a lot of skins and whatever. I've probably spent like $200 or $300 on Lost Ark, purely on skins. I don't buy power in Lost Ark because I enjoy the grind. I have one endgame character, a second one that's almost there, and a third one that's on the way. Now, there are people that spend money on it. They have 6 endgame characters. But I'm okay with only having one. So I don't buy power. Would Lost Ark be worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars? Maybe. Maybe. In terms of like skins and shit, I think Lost Ark is probably one of the, you know, better games. Like, you can easily dump hundreds or thousands of dollars just for visuals in that game and not feel bad about it. So will Diablo 3 or 4, will Diablo 4 have a good, you know, visual microtransaction thing going? Don't know. Probably. So, you know, at least in that department, you'll probably spend a bunch of money. Is it worth paying for the Ultimate Edition? Maybe. I don't know. I think it can be worth, for sure. Conclusion here is yes.